We've been in business since 2003. We actually were involved in installing the very first solar system in NYSERDA territory, and have just really grown exponentially since then, installing thousands of clean energy systems. Our main goal is really to bring solar down to earth and take the mystery out of this technology so that people can get enough information to decide if this is the right thing for them. We focus on the highest quality solar systems at affordable prices, and offering really simple solutions. So no matter your situation, we can probably do solar for you. We are also community solar leaders in the state, having installed the very first community solar farm in all of New York. And I look forward to talking with you more about that a little later in the presentation. So like I said, all we do is solar PV. That's photovoltaic, meaning making electricity from the sun. You see there's some pictures of past installs that we've done. We do residential installs, commercial, ground mount, roof mounts, like I said, also community solar farms. So if you use electricity, we can probably install solar panels to make that for you. We get asked a lot about solar technology. You know, is this fringe technology? Is it changing all the time? The good news is that this is tried and true stuff. You know, solar panels have been commercially available really since the 70s. They've gotten incrementally more efficient since then, but it's really, really hardy equipment. There's no moving parts, which means that there's little to no maintenance. So these systems come with manufacturer's warranties of 25 years. 99% of the panels are recyclable, made with familiar materials, glass, aluminum, and silicon. So it's literally a power plant that you can own that'll produce decades of clean electricity for you. We'll talk a little bit about solar for usually residents or commercial systems that are located on your own property. So that means either on your roof or on the ground in the yard. In order to get your proposal started, we'll take a look at your past usage. We want to get a picture of how much electricity you use so that we can get a sense of how many panels you might need to meet that electric load. With one number from your NYSEG bill, we can pull up your last 2 years worth of usage information. Then we also want to have a conversation with you about what your plans are for your electricity usage. Are you going to be installing LEDs next year? Will your usage go down? Are you going to get an electric car or air conditioning? Will it go up? We want to design a system that's custom tailored to you. We will evaluate your solar resource, again, which will determine how we'll design the system. If it looks interesting and you decide to move forward, we offer lifetime workmanship guarantees on all of our systems and a 90-day installation guarantee. So if solar is something you want to do, we will have it up and running for you in very short order. Otherwise, we'll pay your electricity bill. Now we also offer community solar farms, and this is relatively new in New York State. We're really excited about it. And this means that for people that don't have great sites for solar, which happen to be quite a lot of us, maybe you're a renter, you don't actually own any property, or you don't have a lot of space, your roof is old, it's very shaded. There's a lot of reasons people can't get solar systems on their own property, and now we have an option for you. That's the community solar farm. We are about to build our 8th solar farm. And these are, as you see in the picture there, basically wide open spaces where your panels can point perfectly solar south. There's no shade around, so they're going to be operating at their highest efficiency, really giving you the most bang for your buck. Because these are large swatches of land, we can custom size your system. There's really no limit, so we're not limited by your roof space or your yard space. You would make an upfront investment and purchase your solar panels that would be your property, just like you would if they were on your own yard or house. And it will eliminate your electricity bill that way. NYSEG will buy all of the electricity that your panels produce and then treat it as a credit on your bill, and that's how it is zeroed out. We cover the operation, maintenance, and insurance of your system for 25 years, giving you complete peace of mind. And another neat feature of the solar farm is that it is flexible. You can move. Because your credits are all given to you virtually, or given to you on your bill, If you were to move within NYSEG service territory, about a dozen counties in our region, we would just tell NYSEG what new address to send your solar credits to you. So you can kind of quote unquote take your panels with you that way if you were to ever move. So let's take a look at the solar market so you can better understand costs, and we'll go through an example of those costs and incentives here in a few minutes. But the great news is that solar is growing, and it's growing exponentially. Every year, more and more solar is installed, as you see in that chart there to the right. Since 2009, you see that blue bar is just growing. And one of those reasons, as you see in that orange line, is because costs are had steadily been dropping. You can see a pretty steep drop there starting in 2009 through about 2013. And then those prices have really leveled off in the few years. Even though they've leveled off, you still see solar installations just piling up. The biggest corporations in America and even the world are choosing to go solar. You see Walmart listed there. They're actually the biggest corporate purchaser of solar panels in the United States, and that might be surprising to a lot of people. We don't often think about Walmart as being the greenest company, and the fact that they have solar really just shows us what a sound investment is. They're clearly protective of their bottom line and have decided that solar is a great solution for them. You know, solar really started as just a green initiative for many when prices were high years ago. Early adopters, were going solar primarily for the environmental benefits. But now that those prices are down where they are, this is a really sound investment that will give you a great rate of return. We've got some wonderful incentives for going solar, especially here in New York State. New York is actually the 5th state in the nation in installed solar capacity. And part of what makes solar great here is the Reforming the Energy Vision, REV. Maybe some of you have heard of it. There's a big push towards having 50% of all of the electricity generated in the state coming from renewable sources. Solar is going to be a big part of that portfolio. Two primary drivers for solar investments in New York State are a New York State income tax credit. So you can take 25% of the sticker price of your solar system as a tax credit, and that caps at $5,000. Another great incentive is a NYSERDA grant. That's the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. They will give you 35 cents for every watt that you install. It ends up being often thousands of dollars off of your solar system. At the federal level, we also have an investment tax credit. It's equal to 30% of that sticker price, and there's no cap on that. So again, folks, we're talking about tax credits, not deductions in your income, but dollar for dollar reductions in your tax liability. So these can be really lucrative for a lot of people. This ITC, that federal investment tax credit, is going to be changing as time goes on. This year and next year, we've got it at the 30% level, but as we go forward into the future, this incentive will, eventually be decreasing and probably go away. So if solar is something you're interested in, you're definitely looking at this at the right time. So now that we've taken a look at the market and the incentives available, let's see how this plays out in a real life example. We're going to use an example monthly electricity bill of $90. I use the word example pretty heavily because everyone's electricity usage is very different. We can use electricity for all different things, not just our electronics, but heating, cooling, transportation. Like I said before, we want to get a picture that's tailored to you. But for illustration purposes, we'll move forward with this example. Of that $90 bill, $74 was actually spent on your electricity, the electricity that you bought, delivery and supply for those kilowatt hours. About $16 of that is for the grid fee or basic service charge. $16 is something we all pay for the pleasure of having an account with NYSEG. No matter how many solar panels you have or where they're located, that's something that you'll still continue to pay, but solar can offset everything else for you. Let's look at a 25-year picture because that's how long the solar panels would last. So if you take that 90 bill, carry it through for 25 years without inflation, you would be paying $27,000 for your electricity. If we add in a really reasonable and actually fairly below market inflation rate of just 2.5%, that really looks more like closer to $37,000. So that's our baseline. If you're going to be using electricity for the next 25 years, you can expect to pay that much for it. So let's take a look at an example on-site residential system. This is a ground-mounted system that would offset that $90 bill or that $74 worth of electricity. To do that in a site that's pretty fantastic, has a good solar resource, we would need about 22 solar panels, or what we call a 7.48 kW system. That's just the nameplate capacity rating of the system. Sticker price for that system, as you see there, is that $22,430. And that is not what you pay because of the incentives that we mentioned before. There's that NYSERDA grant at 35 cents a watt, comes to $2,618. We credit that to you up front, take it right off the sticker price of the system, so that never comes out of your pocket. Below that, you see the federal income tax credit equal to 30% of your cost after the NYSERDA grant, so almost $6,000 there, and the New York State income tax credit, just shy of $5,000. So we've gone from a sticker price of that $22,430 down to $8,915, much more affordable. And let's look at the comparison, right? This is probably what we're mostly interested in if you're motivated economically here. When you take a look at the grid electricity, there's no upfront cost, right? You're renting that power month to month from the utility company. Like I said, 74 of that's for the actual electric, 16's for that monthly grid fee, carry it all through for 25 years, and that's almost $37,000. By going solar, it's like you're purchasing the next 25 years of electricity up front. And by doing so, you're locking in a much better rate and getting clean renewable power to boot. So if you remember, that upfront cost after the incentives was that $8,915. There's no more monthly cost for electricity. You're getting those credits on your bill. So that cost now is zeroed out. Still gonna pay that $16 grid fee, but if you add all of that up over 25 years, you've paid only $15,473 for the exact same amount of power. So you are saving over $21,000 by getting clean, renewable, locally generated electricity. This is really exciting stuff, and as we showed in the graph earlier, a big reason why solar is taking off. You don't just have to take our word for it. This is an actual bill of our customers, and you can see it in real dollars and cents here. You've got the meters showing what's used and what's generated. You see in that circle there, credits that are excess credits. If you end up making more electricity than you use in a billing period, those credits are just rolled over month to month on your electricity account so that you can use them later. And you see now that bill is down to just essentially that grid fee, that $15.42. In my opinion, one of the ways the solar company has made the biggest strides is in its financing options. As we said before, this is no longer fringe technology. Banks understand that this is a really sound investment and want to finance these systems. Of course, if you were able to or wanted to pay cash for this system, you're going to see a great rate of return, typically between 7, usually less than 10 years. We've got some great loans as well that can give you a monthly payment for your solar system that's often either below or right around what you're paying for electricity now. So in that way, you're just swapping your electricity bill for a loan payment that one day will be paid off, and then you've got free power. You can use personal unsecured loans. Home equity rates are really good right now. And we're here to help you match with a financing partner if that's something that you're interested in. At Renovus, we take a lot of pride in our customer satisfaction rate. We have thousands of happy customers, and we do that because we have what we call our customer happiness department. If you ever have a question about your system, we are here to support you for the life of that system. A great feature that we offer, whether your system is on your own property or on the solar farm, is an online portal that tracks your system's production. So you can see in real time, I believe it updates every 5 minutes. what your panels are doing. So even if they're not on your own house, if they're on the farm, or if they are on your property, you're looking at them, like we said, they have no moving parts, which is great. But if you're wondering what they're doing in that moment, you can go right online and see for yourself. And that is what we have for the presentation. We'll go ahead and open it up to any questions. And before we get into that, I just want to take this opportunity again to thank you for spending your time with us this afternoon.
Great. Thanks, Amanda. That was very informative. We do have a few questions here. The first question is, what happens to the panels after 25 years?
Sure, great question. So a couple things can happen to the panel after 25 years. First, your panel won't just, disappear on you. Your panel still works. After 25 years, the rate of degradation, basically how much electricity you're getting from that panel, just starts to become a little bit more unpredictable. So there are still panels that were installed in the 70s that are making electricity today. But the 25-year rate is the manufacturer's warranty. If you've got solar panels on the farm and you're wondering what happens after 25 years, one of three things will happen. Like we said, the panels will continue to work after that. So we might offer you an extension on your agreement with us. Or the other option is that you are welcome to come pick up your panels. It's technically your property. We don't think that's going to be a very popular option though, so you don't have to worry about that. Renovus will responsibly recycle and dispose of the panels and offer you then the latest and greatest technology of the day. So a few different options there.
Great. The next question is, what are some typical interest rates that you're seeing for solar loans?
Sure, yeah, good question. Really good interest rates for the most part. I mean, home equity rates are really low right now. We're typically seeing anywhere from 3.5% to 5.5% on those these days. Personal loans might be a touch higher, maybe anywhere from 6 to 9.5%. But don't be too focused on the interest rate. Really, your monthly payment is mostly determined by the term. And so if you can get a good term on your loan, the length of the loan, and if you can get that payment either at or below what your electricity bill is now, you can basically have a rate of return that pays for itself in year one if you're lowering your monthly payment. So that's what we like to focus on and really help people get.
Great. And the last question I have here, and it's a timely one for this time of year and where we live. What happens with snow when it gets on the panel?
Sure, we get asked this all the time. So we live in a little part of the world that gets some snow, right? We design these systems on an annual basis to meet an annual usage. So the idea is that when our solar resource is really great in the summer, late spring, early fall, you're likely going to be producing more electricity than you're using if the system is sized to meet 100% of your annual load. You're going to build up a bank of credits, like I showed you on that bill earlier. You're going to have excess generation that will just roll over month to month on your electricity account, and then you'll draw down from in the winter when our solar resource is cruddier and you're not making as much electricity. So you don't have to worry about snow cover. When the panels are covered in snow, they're not going to be making much power, but you're going to be using those credits you built up earlier. If you have access to your panels and they're on the ground and that snow is really bothering you, feel free to go over there and brush them off.
Great. Thanks, Amanda. I want to thank everyone again for joining today. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at Renovus, and we'd be happy to help you with any questions or sizing the system for you. Thank you.
Thank you.